Hello everyone, today is September 16th, day 346 of the war between Israel and Hamas. We still have 101 hostages in Gaza, and these are the articles for today from Yediot Ahronot. We have here, Karanu et hatayas b'tzipornaim. We clawed out the cockpit with our claws, with our nails, about the helicopter accident that happened. Here we have an article about the Lebanon border saying Retzuat habitachon hachadasha, the new security strip. And then we have another article about Ben-Gvir, המתגייסים החדשים של משטרת Ben-Gvir, the new recruits of the Ben-Gvir police. Let's start with our first article. Here it's talking about Ason HaYanshuf, the Yanshuf disaster. Yanshuf is an owl, is what they call the helicopters, the combat helicopters. And it says here in the title, Heftachnu latayeset alichuda, we promised the trapped female pilot, Netzliach latzil otach, we will be able to rescue you. So what happened a few days ago is that there was an injured IDF soldier in Gaza. One of the helicopters was called to come to their rescue, but something there happened. It wasn't exactly clear if the helicopter crashed because of human error. It wasn't exactly clear if it was that or something else. And as a result of that, you have Sergeant Major Daniel Alwush and Sergeant Major Tom Ish Shalom that were both in reserves that died as a result of that crash. The IDF that came to rescue them speak about the dramatic events that happened and the female pilot that was stuck there. They say here, היא פייטרית, she's a fighter. החזיקה שם מעמד 40 דקות עם פציעה קשה. She was trapped in there and she held on for 40 minutes with a very severe injury. You can see here these IDF soldiers with the extreme wreckage of this helicopter, and they literally had to pry out this female pilot from those ruins. The IDF pilots are fighting under very difficult circumstances. When you think about it, they come in at night. They don't want to expose their position to the enemy, so they don't open their lights as you would with any normal helicopter flight. Because the Philadelphia axis is being basically bulldozed over to create a security strip, what happens is that creates a lot of powder. So when the helicopters come, this powder basically flies up in the air, and it created a visual impairment for the pilot, which is what they think happened in this case. Every single time there's a disaster like this moving forward, they look at the conclusions that they can come to make sure that it doesn't happen again. One of those things is that basically they want to put water over that area so that the dust doesn't fly up into the air, creating a visual impairment, and then eventually at some point also cover the area with tar so that they can have a safe landing. And now another update about the situation in the north that we've been updating you guys pretty much every single week. Here it says, בחזרה לרצועת הביטחון, back to the security strip. What they're doing now is that all of these old security stations that they used to have in different wars between Israel and Lebanon, they're basically going over all of these places and making sure that they are secure again. What they're doing now is that they're preparing for escalation because the situation up north is only becoming worse and worse. They're improving their shooting stations, they're putting sandbags, and they're also putting camouflage nets to make sure that all of their positions are safe. They're also preparing for long periods of time in which they will basically stand in a specific place to ambush the enemy. If you guys have ever been up north, the layout, the geographical layout of the north is that it's filled with a lot of green, as you can see with these pictures. Here you can see them discussing at a table one of the exercises that they're going to do, a military exercise. They're putting up camouflaged nets in the green, trying to blend in with their surroundings. And here they're putting the sandbags all around. The area up north is a very green area with a lot of trees, and on one sense it helps us as the IDF army to camouflage ourselves, but it also helps the terrorists to hide in different places without being discovered. So the more they can do to camouflage themselves, to be in a better position, to improve their position, is better. And now to the article about the very controversial Ben-Gvir. In this opinion article by Nachum Barnea, it says here, Tishkechu ma'ashoter Azulai. You can forget the police officer Azulai. It's basically a pop culture reference to a movie called The Shoter Azulai, in which the police officer was a nice, soft-hearted man, which they believe that Ben-Gvir is not. And it says here, those who normalize Ben-Gvir are those who don't have any sense of history. Netanyahu said that he thought that he would become less extreme, that he would become more sensible. In one of the times that Ben-Gvir had a public sort of dispute with Netanyahu, and it says, Anashim misugo shel Ben-Gvir, the Ben-Gvir type, they don't become less extreme, they become more inflated. Basically, people are extremely dissatisfied with how it seems to be that Ben-Gvir puts himself above the law, that he recruits young people that have the same sort of ideology as him, and puts, instead of the more senior, more reliable police officers, people that are more extreme, that will basically do anything that he asks them to. And here you can see in this caricature, in a case that happened a few days ago, it says here, Mi amar she'anachnu lo metaplim b'mishpachot hapesha. Who said that we don't take care of the criminal families, the criminal mafia that's in Israel? Here you can see Ben-Gvir basically like arresting 3 women that are in handcuffs, and in the background you can see a place in Israel called Ramle and an explosion of a car. What happened a few days ago is that these 3 women went to a synagogue, a public synagogue that was open to the public, and left their posters of the hostages, but someone there high up wasn't happy with it, and so they basically had them arrested inside their houses and basically brought to the police station. But a lot of people are doubting the antics of Ben-Gvir, that he believes that he is above the law. The people are afraid that Ben-Gvir will continue to become more and more extreme, that the people will have less and less rights, and that he will recruit more people that will just do his bidding. And now we'll go briefly about the Houthi attack that happened yesterday morning as a surprise attack. It says here, Hatil HaHouthi, the Houthi rocket, Yurat Khilkit. It was partially intercepted. What happened yesterday at 6:21 a.m. in the morning is that the Houthis sent what they claim is a ballistic missile, a hypersonic one, but the IDF says that that is not actually true. It was partially intercepted in the air, and it was basically on its way to hit some unknown area in Tel Aviv. Since Israel has hit the Houthis in their harbor, basically taking out their ammunition, the Houthis have vowed to take revenge. And here you can see the results, a wildfire that happened next to the village of Daniel from part of the intercepted pieces of that rocket. And you can also see here a little bit of damage that was happened at the train station of Modi'in. You can see the man scraping up the pieces of glass. The feeling in Israel about it is basically that we will continue to defend ourselves. But the people of Israel, from what I saw on social media, all they did was complain that the Houthis woke them up early in the morning. But apart from that, we're continuing on with our lives. Thank God there were no casualties and no injured in this occasion. But also when we look back on all of the attacks from Iran, that there were really massive attacks from the Houthis. God protects us every single time. And that shouldn't be taken for granted, that is the situation. When you think about the danger, the massive amounts of explosive that each one of these rockets carries, the fact that it was only resulted in a wildfire is the best result possible. So please, if you're praying for Israel, continue to pray that He'll protect us and that no people will be harmed. And now to end with 2 good news, one about an Israeli, famous Israeli poet, and another one about 2 heroes. It says here, Et hamangina shelo, his melody, if shar lafsik, you cannot stop. Here you can see Andad Eldan, who is 100 years old. He survived the Be'eri massacre. He was a resident of Be'eri, and he was recommended to receive an award for his rich poems and his unique contribution over the years to the Israeli culture. Eldan was a man who loved to educate the children of Be'eri. He would teach them the Bible, he would teach them poetry, and it says here that כל כך הרבה אנשים המליצו. There's never been a case in which so many people have recommended to give an award to this one person. And so you can tell that this man, 100 years old, did a lot for the people of Be'eri. And we always like to end with our Israeli heroes. Here it says, Mefakdei Machlaka, department commanders. Here you can see in the pictures Dr. Shalom Cortex and Dr. Yechiel Wright, who are medical experts at the emergency medical hospital Asuta in Ashdod that have been in reserves for 11 months straight. These doctors have a huge role to play in this hospital. They have wives and children and grandchildren, and yet they, go up to reserves to serve their country. And you have to understand that all the people that are in reserves, it's not like they don't have their lives back at home. These are people that are famous musicians. These are oftentimes politicians. These are heads of departments and even experts, that they sacrifice everything to go and protect their borders. And so we are extremely grateful for Dr. Shalom Cortex and Dr. Yechiel Wright for all of their contribution to Israel. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more Israel content, go to allisrael.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.